Hello ladies and gents, this is another video brought to you by Antswood. A question that get asked a lot is, what do you feed your ants? What protein do you give them? What insects? What honey do you give them? Is it raw? Is it watered down? Is it the honeydew off the internet? So this video is going to be about what I do, what I feed them and how I look after my feeder insects. First off, I'm going to have to apologise for this image of this dog. I seen it on the internet, it cracked me up. It poops rainbows. So what do ants eat? Well, that's a difficult question because different species eat different things. But generically, ants need two things: carbohydrates in the form of honey, or protein, which is in the form of like insects. There is exception to this rule, such as harvester ants like messers, because they take the seeds, grind it down into a so-called ant bread, and then eat that, so they don't need as much honey and things like that. But they still need the protein for the queens and the young to grow. I like to get feeder insects. These are insects that I buy off the internet mostly, feed them, keep them alive, and then fresh kill them for my ants to eat. I tend to use roaches mostly, Turkestan roaches, just because they're easy to look after. I just feed them and forget about them and I don't need to do anything else. So I tend to use the roaches, but the other day, as you know from one of my videos, I'd run out of roaches because I was busy at work and didn't order any, and they took ages to get here. So I went to Pets at Home and got some Mario worms even. I think that's how you pronounce it, it's on the screen anyway. They're just like oversized mealworms and they're pretty good, to be fair. I also picked up some crickets. Now, I'm not using these ever again. Every time I open up the lid, they jump out and it's a right pain. Not only that though, my missus is getting a bit angry of having crickets all over the house. So once these have been eaten, I'm never getting them again. Rightly or wrongly, I do put very little care and consideration into my feeder insects. As long as they've got food and they don't die, unless I want them to be eaten, that is, I'm generally happy. Now, these cost like 10 quid and I get about 100 off eBay. That's generally where I get them from, and this is how I house them. I used to keep my roaches in this little tank here that I got off the internet for like £6.99, I think it was, free postage. But the crickets evicted them from that house. And not only that though, they kept on getting near the top when I was concerned they might escape. So I bought this one, because it's taller they can't get out the air vents because the roaches can't climb the glass, which is great. It's got a pop-up lid like that folds back as well, which is, as you can see here, which is good. And for the same price as Tinterweb, but a better product. Not bad from Pets at Home, I must say. Now, I know I say I put little care and consideration into these, so don't freaking hate me for this, but I'm just going to show you how I move my roaches into their new outworld. All I do is I have to cut the lid off because I was quite taped down, and there we go, dumped them in, and that's it. That's simple. I know I put little care and consideration, but the feeder insects, after all, they're not my main aim, which is my ants. Cruel maybe, I don't know, but it is what it is. You may be wondering why I've not put any substrate in the roach home, and that's because these last me roughly a month and a half to 2 months, and after that I'll be emptying it out and cleaning it out ready for the new roaches. So it doesn't really make sense to waste substrate even that regularly. As you can see here, I'm feeding them apple. Now apple's great because it's got loads of moisture in there so they can hydrate after their travel, and it's also food for them. I could put some water in there for them, but they just tend to drown and kick it overall everywhere, so there's not much point with it. You can get fancy pants gels which hydrate your feeder insects, but yet again I just don't care about them that much. I should, I don't. I'm not cruel to them, by the way, so I don't think I'm horrible, but I just don't have much consideration for them. So I just feed them apples or high moisture fruits. You can also feed them like veggies and stuff, and like your banana peels, not banana peels, sorry, like your carrot peels and stuff like that, and they'll eat that too. So they're easy to look after. The next main thing ants need is carbohydrates, and for this I'm going to show you how I make some honey water. What we're going to need for this is something to stir it and or mix it all together in, some honey from a shop, something to store it in, and a spoon to mix it all together. Now what you need to do is obviously put your honey into your mixy bowl. Now some people say different things. People say you need to buy organic honey for it, so you know you're not giving the chemicals or pesticides to your ants and stuff like that. But I just buy cheap stuff, and I've never noticed any negative effect to my ants or anything like that. So you know, don't worry about it. Right, don't forget to lick up the residue there. Tasty. Now I've boiled the kettle here. I didn't think there was really need to show you a kettle. It's part of the kit I need. But what I do is I pour boiling water into there and mix it together. I'm looking for maybe 1 part honey, 1 part water. Then mix it together until there's no like lumps of honey or anything like that. So it's all dissolved into the water, as it were. I tend to look for colour. This is the kind of colour I go for, to be fair, and it works well for my ants because it's what I've always done, and as you've seen from my colonies, they do really well. Now once you're happy there's no lumps of honey in it or anything like that, and it's all dissolved into the water, what you need to do now is get your container or something you're going to be storing it in. I've got one of these little tub things here that you can buy off internet, and they're really good, to be fair. All I do is squeeze all the air out of it, stick the end in and suck it all up. That way I'm not going to burn my fingers or do anything silly like that. And once it's filled up and all the air's out, I tip it upside down, still point it over because trust me, some will squirt out. Squeeze the excess air out and suck it all up again. And we just continue to repeat that until we finally filled the bottle. Yep, and once it's filled, what we do is that we put the cap on and then it's ready to be stored. Oh, forgot to put in the picture. There it is. There you go. Then all you need to do is stick it in the fridge, because remember, you've used boiling water so it's hot and you don't want to give it to your ants when it's that warm. So put it in your fridge to cool off and then you're ready to go. Well, that's it for today then, guys. I was going to talk about the harvester ants, like my messes that I've got, but it's pretty pointless because all they take is seeds and you just dump the seeds in the outworld and they process it for you. So there's not much to really talk about other than that they need seeds instead of honey, but honey never hurts anyway. First for my channel, these are my Memacaruba ants. I'm not showing these yet, but I will do a video at some point in the near future. They're just attacking a roach here. You might think I'm live feeding, but it has been squished, but these ants kind of like need some movement to be motivated. But that's it for today then. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye.